Democratic Party.
Okay. So Gilberto, you were in South Texas today in the Rio Grande Valley to help Michelle Vallejo with her campaign in Congressional District 15. What were the key points you wanted to get across at this press conference that unfortunately I missed?
Well, what we want to make sure that people understand is that Michelle is wanting to go to college to accomplish things that are important for South Texas families. I mean, she's going to be fighting for the issues that are important to them. These issues are pretty clear. Whether families have access to health care. You know, there's $11 billion waiting in a bank account in Washington, D.C. for the state of Texas to draw on. That is designed to provide health care for, 1 million Texans, many of which are in the Rio Grande Valley that has a huge population that does not have any access to health care. She's fighting to make sure that people who work in this state and in our community earn a living wage. I mean, we had $7.25 as a minimum wage for 25 years. And no one has ever raised it. And how can anybody live on $7.25? And it depresses wages in other industries because employers know that they don't have to pay very much because the minimum wage is $7.25. She's fighting to make sure that we have sufficient resources to educate our kids. Today, our children are going to school under a system where Texas is ranked 47 out of 50 in terms of funding per child. We suffer significantly as a result of that, and our kids are not able to get the best education that they deserve, and our teachers are not getting paid anything. To be able to sustain their families as well. And when they retire, they don't make enough money in the retirement to be able to support themselves and to live a decent life. Then to get another job and another job. These are all issues that are important to families in South Texas. And it's clear that these are not issues that Michelle's opponent are even talking about. They've got these standard lines, talking points that the Republican Party has given them. Stop inflation, economic development. That's it. She doesn't tell you how she's going to give economic development to South Texas, even though what the Democrats have done with legislation that has been passed since Joe Biden has been president it has increased the amount of money in the Rio Grande Valley that is available to families here in South Texas. The infrastructure act that was passed by Congress is going to pour millions of dollars into the Rio Grande Valley to upgrade our airports, to upgrade our highway systems, our water systems, and so forth. These are all critical, as you well know, for economic development. If you don't have good roads, you don't have good airports, businesses won't come down here. If they don't come down here, there's no jobs. You have to be able to develop the infrastructure in a poor community like in South Texas to attract jobs down here. As you well know, the Rio Grande Valley is the largest metropolitan area in the nation without an interstate system accessing it. Although there's signs out there with Interstate 4 and Interstate 69, but really are those interstate quality highways? Not yet, right? So, you have, on the other hand, these folks talking about the cultural issues and about inflation, but they don't really talk about what's important to families. And one thing that they avoid, that she will avoid, this woman, if you can ever talk to her, by the way, I understand she won't speak to anybody. They have her muzzled because they don't want her to talk to anybody because I think they're afraid of what she's going to say or her ability to express herself. If she really is going to be in Congress and effective, she's got to be willing to talk to people at very high levels, and if she's not able to do that in her own community, then you got something to worry about big time, right? But the other thing that's critical right now, after the Dobbs decision, is a woman's right to determine their own bodily autonomy, a woman's right to decide what her healthcare needs are, to decide what her family planning needs are, or what she wants. That's been taken away from women in Texas. And what does the Republican Party want to do? Which she signs off on it 100%. They don't not only want to continue with what Dobbs did, which is allow the states to control the issue of abortion, but they want to create a national law that prohibits women all over the country from getting an abortion. I promise you that she's supportive of that Republican legislation. She's supportive of the Republican legislation that ultimately will take away the right of an individual to marry whomever he pleases, no matter the sex of the other person. You know, these are issues that are affecting people in South Texas. It's affecting families in a really big way, and she doesn't want to have a conversation about that. So how can voters elect somebody like that? The way she gets away with all of this is she's getting this dark money from these PACs that nobody knows where this money comes from, and there's millions of dollars being spent to put out false negative ads against Michelle. You know, let's have a conversation with her. Where do you get this money, and what do these people expect to get from you once you get elected, if you are able to get elected? The people out here in the Rio Grande Valley deserve to know that. You want to be their United States Congresswoman, tell us where the money that you are receiving to run these ads are coming from, and what is the basis for you making statements that somehow Michelle has supported defunding the police, which is a flat out lie. Yet she can get away with it because she's got the dark money supporting her, and because she refuses to talk to anybody.
What do you say to the fact that she will not agree to a debate, a forum that the chambers of commerce, the FAR chamber, the McAllen chamber, Futura RGB, they all want to put a forum on to educate the public, and she doesn't respond to their calls?
It shows you that all she is a picture. All she is a photograph. There's no substance there, because if there was any substance there, she would speak to the chamber. She would speak to individuals that want to interview her. She would engage in a debate sponsored by nonpartisan groups to find out what is she going to do to stop inflation. Tell us. What are you going to do in order to improve the economy in South Texas? How do you feel about infrastructure legislation that got passed in the legislature, and every Republican in the House of Representatives voted against it? Are you also going to be one of those people that's voting against these economic development programs while at the same time you talk about economic development? So, look, you can tell that there's nothing there, and that's why she's not willing to talk to people, and I hope that people in the Rio Grande Valley see through this.
Well, let's talk about Michelle for a minute. How does Michelle compete when, as you say, millions of dollars of dark money is really nasty negative ads on TV against her? She's not getting any support, or nowhere near as much support, from the Democrats in Washington.
Well, she competes the way we always compete as Democrats. They always have more money than we do by a lot. We knock on doors. We take it to the people. We have grassroots campaigns. We call them. We text them. We do everything possible to get people to understand the importance of this election and how it affects their families. And so that's how she competes. That's one of the reasons why I'm down here, to make sure that we're all working towards ensuring that the people in the Rio Grande Valley come out to vote in big numbers. The Republican Party doesn't understand that what they've done here is they literally have awakened the people in the Rio Grande Valley. There's never been contested elections at the higher level in the general election for congressional races, not really contested elections, or the state senate or the state rep races, right? So there was never any incentive for our candidates or incumbents to spend a whole bunch of money to get the vote out. Now they do. Now they're out there. The Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee is working down here, trying to get people to go out and vote, registering people, all the things that need to be done. And that's how we compete. We don't have the money, we got the people.
Anything else you'd like to say, Gilberto?
I just, October 11th is the last day for voter registration. Look, the best way for you to help us, help you in the Rio Grande Valley is get your cell phone, call every single person on their cell phone, find out if they're registered to vote, get them to register to vote. Registered Texas is an app that we've got, or it's a website that we've got that you get into, and it'll give you a way to download an application so that you can fill it out and mail it out and get registered before the 11th of October. And then once you're registered, go vote. Vote early, vote make it a plan, vote with your family, vote with your friends, make it an event. And I think that's how you can make sure that the real public servants like Michelle are elected to represent you.
Gilberto Hinojosa, Democratic Party, State Democratic Party Chair, thank you so much for today's interview.
Thank you, Steve. Good to see you.